Kevin. It's kind of funny, I've never heard Kevin before, but he's kind of channeling the voice I fall into all the time, so if I start sounding like him, just wave your hand. But I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of, I'm a little pissed off, a little embarrassed too. Evidently there's a rumor going around Zanies. I heard a bunch of people talking about it, that I want to put an end to this rumor right now. Evidently people think that I offered cocaine to one of the waitresses. And I want to stop this rumor now. I want to nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. The rumor is absolutely true. But you should see this girl. I mean, you probably saw her. You probably saw her when you came in. She's gorgeous. And I see these young girls, I can't help myself but look, And she's up at the bar. The bartender gives her a bunch of drinks, a bunch of beers. And she can't figure out which one's the Miller Lite. So she leans over the bar and starts smelling the beers. And she finally gets to the Miller Lite, and she goes, "Ah, smells like college." And then I'm looking back at the thong hanging out of her pants, and I'm thinking to myself, "Ah, smells like college." But I'm 53 years old. I've seen a lot. And I'm very thankful for these back tattoos, these tramp stamps. I can't, we couldn't even dream of that in the 70s. And it made me aware of something that I didn't even know existed, the dimples on women's backs. It's amazing. It's an amazing discovery. But the thing about these things is they're kind of boring for the most part. Girls got them on spring break, and they're like these designs. And half the time you're trying to figure out what it means. So I came up with this idea. And what it is you have the New York Times crossword puzzle on the back. Then you can actually do something back there if you're bored. But honestly, I ran into a girl one time that actually had the New York Times crossword puzzle on her back. But it had already been solved. Many, many times. And things, if you really don't like a girl, you can just do tic-tac-toe, right? But I talk about being an old guy and everything, but the trouble is you get older as a guy, but you still like these young girls. But you can't do anything about it, you're a total creep. But I have the same taste in women that I had in 7th grade. I do. But I still can't get those 12-year-olds. But being old, it's tough too, because you don't have the stamina you had when you were 20. You didn't know what you were doing when you were 20. All you're doing is having sex all the time. But it makes you very well aware of how Christopher Reeve felt, when he couldn't be Superman again. Oh, poor Christopher Reeve. But women don't care. They're just mean to you. You can't perform and they just get mad. But I get tired. Can't do everything I could do when I was 20. So what I've noticed lately is they've stopped having orgasms, and now I get sarcasms. I'm worn out, and they look back at me and say, "Boy, that was great." But another thing I miss, being my age, is drunk driving. I love drunk driving. When I was a kid, we had the most fun because it wasn't against the law. It was just like a speeding ticket. You're going too fast. Well, I was drunk. All right. But I figured out how to bring the fun back into drunk driving again. And what you do is you replace those traffic cones with mannequins. A lot more fun. But even better than that, replace them with American dolls. Have you guys ever been in that store? That's like the creepiest store in the world, isn't it? I mean, it's like a pedophile theme park. And I've always wanted to go up to them. They always had these famous kids. I've always wanted to go up to them and say, "Hey, do you have a John Benet Ramsey doll?" With the blood on the dress and the ripped panties. It's lifelike. But I'm a bad drunk. I'm a really bad drunk. I get fights all the time and all that. And every day became the same. It was like Dr. Jekyll going around apologizing for Mr. Hyde. And I learned one thing that was kind of funny one night, is that if you get kicked out of a bar, 2 bars for fighting, Don't go to the third one and brag about it. It's really a bad idea. So I drank so much that I eventually became a clown, as Pat said. I worked in Jim Rose's circus for a while. It's like a freak show circus. And I did shows around here as a stand-up, as a clown sometimes. And I do a showcase over at a place called Angelo's up the street. And one night I was sitting in there and it was real slow, and these two drunk guys come in. And they start heckling me right away. They're drunk, it's early. And I'm looking at them, I'm going over my notes and everything, not really thinking about it. And I'm there alone with my girlfriend and the bartender and the owner, and that's about it. So these guys start heckling me and they tell me, "Hey clown, are you funny? Are you funny, clown? You gonna be funny tonight?" So I'm kind of trying to ignore them and everything. So finally I decide, the show's not going to start for a half an hour, so I decide to get these guys up on the mic. And I go, "Well, if you think you're funnier than me, why don't you go up there?" So this guy gets up on the mic and he says, "You can always tell the quality of a clown by the quality of his girlfriend." And he said, "And this one is old as the hills. I'll bet she wears those big old granny panties." And this guy had no idea what he had done. Because my girlfriend is a Staten Island mob wife. She immediately jumped up and ran over and decked the guy. His glasses went flying over the bar. His buddy comes running over to hit her. I ran over and hit that guy twice, right on top of the head. Bam, bam. The other guy jumps up again. I hit him again. The owner and the bartender are behind the bar. They come out. They're dragging these guys out of the bar. They got clown paint all over their face. And this one guy's yelling at me as they're dragging him out, "I'm gonna get you, clown!" True story. And then all the showcase comedians were walking in and seeing all this drama, and they totally thought I'd set it up, But I was a pretty good clown. I actually was. I had some tricks. I could juggle 10 things once. I could make great balloon animals, but they always turned out looking like genitalia. That got me in trouble with the kids, or actually not with the kids, they liked it. And I thought for a while about going to Clowns Anonymous, but I thought it was redundant. And when I worked in the circus, they put me with working with midgets because I had a good sense of humor. And it's really tough. I don't know if you ever, well, I'm not going to start cutting midgets down. I got it bad enough. But they're mean. And I used to run this midget tossing contest. And they would wear harnesses, and they were like those dumb clowns you see at carnivals where they're yelling at people,
Hey, let's have a real big hand for Patrick Flanigan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Patrick.